Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om Shri Ram, Shri Ram, I don't know, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om. You have sent it? Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Swamiji, audio is not there.
I will. Yesterday, as usual, we received one email on the topics we were dwelling. That's the source, the goal. the more it is described in so many ways by so many enlightened ones, the more it is approached within. In nature or through others, the more it becomes close and distant at once alternatively. The goal is precisely defined, intellectual knowledge is somewhat clear, tools offered are also clearly explained, and even details are suggested to how to use them. All is there, grace is there. The bitter revelation is that knowledge as well as tools are worth nothing if not used as meant to be. I must be absolutely pure to use them properly. Surrender or stick to him, no matter what. All that thanks to the Guru spreading intuitive, imbibed, embedded knowledge. Here so disarmed, distracted. I must become one with you. I am not separated, clueless, ignorant. How to use the tools, how to renounce. Grace is there, gratitude inundates the whole being, but in a moment, nothingness steps in. Bathing in itself or else, sleep takes over. Maybe could that nothingness be used as a gate opening to the original values? Values you were talking about, depicting the 5 elements yesterday, or the all-pervading and immortal divine coming from Papa's thought this morning in one word. Lord, I feel clueless, except for the fact that this soul being yours remains at your holy feet, ever protected. The same way it is said, the truth is known when one merges in the ocean. I feel like pouring out all the dirt in the ocean of your pure mercy. How not to be grateful? She is absolutely right. Because as we keep on going, trying to go within, we find beyond certain level, the sense of individuality cannot travel. So the reply was sent, your outpourings do help in knowing initially the relevance of the tools. The tools he has provided, God has provided, as also its irrelevance later. Swami Ramtirtha said, with a pair of tongs you can catch anything outside. Can it catch the hand which holds? This body is controlled by a power which is superior to it. So this tug of war, apparently these clashes, conflicts, it's a good sign. Real churning has started. And ultimately, when the churning entity in us stops, and when it comes back to the thought level, it realizes it has had a taste of it. Then download. So again, we have been modifying. How to become one with him is the natural yearning or cry of every serious devotee. Our spiritual preceptors teach us that even to aspire on these lines, we need grace. So devotees can take it that through this inner urge to move towards him, by prompting one of the devotees to raise this point on 11th or 10th of this month. God is preparing all of us to connect himself or herself totally with him. As a first step, we try to know what him stands for and who wants to become one with him. Based upon the satsang he provided to us, the revelation comes to us that the individual aspires to become one with the spirit or Atman within. We intellectually understand that without the spirit, the individual cannot exist, and without the individual, the spirit cannot be realized. So both are interconnected and valid. Sadhakas must have tried so many ways to get an answer to this oft-repeated fundamental question of becoming one with him. But still the feeling continues that the question remains unanswered in spite of being blessed with some fleeting experiences of his presence in different ways. Now sadhakas feel the urgency to intensify the efforts to become one with him through either Vijara Marga or Bhakti Marga or a combination of both, along with various types of activities, Karma Marga. So what is Vichara Marga? It is inferred that through the path of knowledge, the indwelling Lord first makes the devotee equip the intellect with all that is necessary to pursue the path. Through scriptures, through the Guru's words of wisdom. Here the devotee makes use of the thought for achieving the goal, which is the only vehicle available for the purpose. Vichara Marga. Vichara means thought. So Vichara is the only vehicle, no? We try to read, we try to learn, we try to absorb, we try to retain, we try to memorize. We try to compare various approaches to spirituality, various words of Mahatmas. All these things are all on the thought level, Vichara. So we feel that this is the only vehicle available to us. Medium is available to us. So we naturally are tempted to make use of the thought to become one with him. There lies the problem. No doubt initially thoughts do play a crucial role. But not throughout. When the thought takes up the driving seat to move toward the goal of realizing him, it forgets that even the urge to know him and the very thought are caused by him only. And therefore the goal itself is both the starting and the finishing point of this journey. In other words, the assertive thought, which presumes that it can independently trace the way and reach the goal, pleads its inability to move further. Which is past thoughts. Unknowingly, this does not go smoothly. When thoughts come to a standstill, the experiential realm emerges, which is past thoughts. So the thought is told, in our case, Papa says, utterance of God's name is to make the mind ultimately still, free from all thoughts. It is in the stillness that we know and realize God. But again, this is the thought that is reading and expressing, So just to hear this, it will not help. So when the thoughts come to a standstill, the experiential realm emerges. When we take to mental chanting, slowly the mind becomes calm and quiet, paving the way for the witness consciousness to emerge. And then the chanting stops. So it is an experience, awareness, which cannot be explained. If the thought again pursues, finished. So when thoughts come to a standstill, the experiential realm emerges, which is past thoughts. Unknowingly, this does not go smoothly because of the tug of war between the urge to enter into the experiential realm and the thought. As soon as the mind becomes calm and steady, and then still, beyond that we cannot explain now, no? So that experience we get only for a trice. Why do we say trice? Immediately the thought enters. So initial stages is a tug of war. The thought always feels that it is away from the goal. This gives the feeling of spiritual dryness and heaviness. In spite of my doing so many times, so many days, so many, still, we feel it is away, it's away. And unknowingly I feel that thought should enable us to reach there. So this is the experience of most of us when we try through the Vichara Marga. Then comes Bhakti. Whereas in the path of Bhakti, there is a sweet relationship between the Bhakta, the individual, and Bhagavan, the spirit, born out of faith and love. It starts with faith and love. We all go back to our childhood days. When our parents were every day morning, when they were bowing before the puja room, the deity, the photo, and when they utter something, when they take us to the temple, when they take us to an ashram, just imagine, all those things you try to bring in. It is pure bhakti. It is faith and love, faith and devotion. Bhakta always feels the Bhagavan is near him, guiding, protecting, leading him at every stage. Because that is how we have been told. So it seems to be relatively easy because it makes the Bhakta safe in him. There is therefore no heaviness or dryness. Now, when we hear the word, the moment we hear the word bhakti, the mind goes either to deities or the physical form of a guru with whom God made us to come in contact with. Through the spiritual preceptor, he makes the devotee aware that the guru or God, deity later on. He makes the devotee aware that the guru or deity symbolizes God, who is within and without. That is why Pujya Mataji could have reverence for the form and remain rooted in the impersonal. By and large, it is through the personal form that one can approach the impersonal reality. Therefore, the form serves as the password to enter the realm of the impersonal. In the Bhakti Marga. Devotion comes to play in the form of glorifying him, bhajan, chanting his name, praying to him. Karma, devoid of the sense of doership and sense of possession, doing everything with a touch of love, a touch of perfection, touch of dedication, and a touch of gratitude, is karma. And beloved Papa said, devotion by itself is not the whole thing, knowledge by itself is not the whole thing, action by itself is not the whole thing. Combine these three in your life and manifest the all-round magnificence of your being. Logically, we may take jnana, bhakti, and karma as different things, but in truth, they cannot be separated from each other in practice. Of course, bhakti has an upper hand. We are thus led to understand that the purpose of jnana, bhakti, and karma is to try out ways and means to become one with Him. So, as Papa's children, spiritual children, we find that he wanted to combine. No? That is what he did. So, he placed before us. That's why you could say jnana, bhakti is the root, vairagya is the trunk, jnana is the flower, parabhakti is the fruit. So from the root to the fruit, we find bhakti and parabhakti. Bhakti to a deity or a guru, it starts with that. But ultimately it unfolds itself as seeing Him everywhere. Not one particular deity or not one particular form. And according to Acharya Vinoba Bhave, the 15th chapter, Purushottama Yoga, it stands for this. Harmonious blend of these three. That is, according to him, that is called the Purushottama Yoga. Prakriti, Purusho and Purushottama. In our language he mentioned, those are big words. Prakriti, Purusha, Purushottama. In our words he says a harmonious blend of bhakti, jnana and karma. That's why he said there are only three things in this world. One is He, the Bhagavan, inside and outside. He is the Supreme. And me, the Bhakta, with a sense of individuality. And rest of the things are articles of worship. All activities, right from the moment we get up in the morning till we retire to bed, whatever activities we perform, they are the offerings to Him. So these three, jnana, bhakti and karma, its combination is, according to him, it is Purushottama Yoga. At this juncture, we are thus led to understand that the purpose of jnana, bhakti and karma is to try out ways and means to become one with Him. Every time we should keep on reminding that, how do I become one with Him? How do I become one with Him? Whatever we hear when we try to do manana, when we try to get the theme out of it, immediately we should know whether it is leading me to become one with Him. Otherwise it is an intellectual exercise or a mental exercise, having its limited sphere of utility. Huh?
Will you please mute the audios, please?
Up to this, everybody is clear?
Yes, Swamiji. Not clear, Swamiji.
Clear, Swami.
So now, at this juncture, the following words of Beloved Papa throw some light on how to move further. He says, try to enter into the mysterious origin of your and the world life. To know who you are in reality is the real quest. To arrive at this truth, you have to, by a systematized process of thought and discipline, transcend all human limitations set by the body, mind, intellect, and then, embarking on the realm of the spirit, realize your immortal, changeless, blissful nature. So to become one with Him, I should first know I want to become one with Him. So Papa is asking us to concentrate on the I, To know who you really are in reality is the real question. From his experience, he has realized that this real quest itself brings the answer. That's why he said, try to enter into the mysterious origin. I want to become one with Him. Normally I take, I means, the person I am. I feel I am this person. And my satsang so far, God provided, make me feel that I am not that. I am only a part of that. What I am identifying now with my body, mind, intellect is not the full thing. To some extent, I am also intellectually convinced. Because of the various sadhanas He has provided and various sadhanas He made us to carry on, including chanting of His holy name, dwelling upon the words of wisdom, thinking about the bounteous gifts the Lord has given to me. All those things way. But still I come back to the me and mine only. So Papa wants to first see who is to become one with Him. That is why he specifically said, to know who you are in reality is the real quest. So that means based on these words, tracing the source of all sources, when we try to proceed further, Bhagavad Gita comes to our end, our aid. We try to read certain slokas and try to understand. Many a times we have read that slokas, Bijam Mam Sarva Bhutana. Intellectually we get some more clues, but still we are a non-starter. Here Papa gives us another clue, because a self-created and very strong wall of separation, it shuts the individual from the view and experience of the immortal realm. And this wall is the individual sense or ego. Bluntly speaking, the ego is trying to erase the ego, which is simply not possible. When the ego tries to efface itself with the help of the ego, it becomes impossible. That we come to realize later. We put in our efforts. over so many years. Some intellectual thrill or something will come, again we are back to square one. Ultimately, when you take the balance sheet, we are back to square one. So, because when we read is, remove the dam, allow the waters of the stream with its pristine purity, empty the flute of its clogged matter, you produce a celestial melody. Tune the instrument and you draw from it the most entrancing music. Clean the glass, you permit the light to pass through it. Similarly, eliminate the ego sense from your life, and that instant you liberate life to realize its oneness with the immortal truth. Its oneness with the entire universe, its oneness with the infinite power, its oneness with the everlasting joy. This is what we mean by becoming one with Him. So similarly, eliminate the ego sense from your life. So to eliminate the dominance of the sense of individuality, the ego, we are now prompted to dwell upon the theme contained in the slokas. Where the Lord says, I am behind everything. So this should get more and more stamped in our heart. Because how to eliminate this ego? Only by making it aware that it owes everything to that power. Not intellectually. Intellectually we can read. We have been reading also. So those of us who are trying, honestly, to eliminate this ego and become one with Him. Each one of us has to think deeply how to proceed further in the experiential realm. So we adopt a sadhana which will enable us to enter into the experiential realm. Not for a few seconds or minutes every day, that we have been trying. It comes and goes. When we become clueless, in our case, we look up to Papa's life. The journey from Vittal Rao to Swami Ramdas. The limited ego to the purified ego. The limited sense of individuality to a purified sense of individuality. We will eliminate the word ego. The moment we say ego, what we form is a negative idea. All our so far, whatever we have done so far, it gives us that, preconditioning. So we will say the sense of individuality, which is not purified, which is limited to itself, tries to upgrade itself, elevate itself, graduate itself to a higher level of So the shlokas we try to go deep within. Because when Papa asked us to go to the source, he used the word, thought and discipline. A systematized thought and discipline. Not merely thought, not merely discipline. So by deriving the fullest benefit from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, or for that matter any scripture, in the 7 or 8 slokas, when the Lord keeps on hammering, I am behind, I am behind, I am behind, I am behind. And when we try to delve deep into it, though I am not clear about you, I agree. My intellect cannot take beyond certain level. So I will infer you are there. Kindly reveal me. Kindly reveal your presence in me. How many shlokas? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that means let us not get caught again. When we go through the slokas, when we go through the meaning, naturally the mind will have the tendency to memorize and then reproduce. No. Each shloka, or when we read the whole 10 slokas, and then we close the file, close the book, and then try. Only one guideline Papa gives is prayer, Nama chanting, singing of His glories. Because it is purely we have to enter into the inner realm. As we read out, the thought which is sitting in the driver's seat and feel that it can trace the ways, fails, it cannot. But at the same time, when the driver looks up to the conductor, how should I go? Then he guides. So to become aware of the presence of the conductor and to make use of his guidance, then I can do that. This is what Papa says, Unless we do that, we find it, we don't find any way out. This stage also cannot be explained. The driver, the thought realizes, I don't say realizes, the thought now knows it cannot go by itself beyond certain level. But at the same time, the truth is there that I am there. No? The thought itself realizes that the thought is there, that is right. Without a cause, there cannot be a thought. When it keeps on trying to know its source by itself, and when it meets with failure after failure, then finally it looks up. And first thing it gets is that I am there, where from I came. When we say that, the one method we can try, each one has to try in their own way. During our day's activities, whenever we are in a sattvic mood, little free from busy activities, whatever activity we do, oh, he's prompting me to do that, he's prompting me to do that, he's prompting me to do that. That feeling, So first stage, I think we can do that. Just like Mataji used to say, whenever it touches, this is also Papa, this is also Papa, this is also Papa. Puja Swamiji in 2003, when he wrote God Guides, he said, when I take the glass is God. When I take the water to drink, water is God. Like that, These are all some methods there. Now they point out to us. So first, when we are in a passive guna, sattvic gunas, when we are in sattvic state, not relatively a little free from the busy activities, there the mind overpowers, thought overpowers. Here, slowly the thought allows us to bring in the dimension. This you have to try and see how far it is effective. The first tangible gain is that he is near. When actually the feeling comes, anything that is before me is him. Anything that wells up in my heart is him. That means nearness. Even if it is for 5 minutes, worth it. Somebody may come, we come down to the state of usual, our sense of agency, and we may lose it. Doesn't matter. We are not losing anything. Nothing will go in vain. Again we try. So whenever the mind becomes relatively passive, a little relatively free from busy activities, in the Jnana path we call it as Sakshi Bhav. That Sakshi Bhav slowly emerges, witnessing our activities. So his nearness is felt. Again we are back, okay. But once we have tasted this, that will give us the incentive to sustain that. When we go through the biographies of masters, we find That it is through this withdrawal of mind from the usual activity that has helped them. That is why in Quest of God he says, receding from. To strive to approach and understand Ram is to recede from the world of vanishing forms. Which cannot be done by all of us. We are fully preoccupied, we have prioritized so many activities. Just like, when you go to the court, they have listed so many cases. One after another, the judge hears. Similarly, the moment we start our waking state, there is a list of activities there, one by one, one by one, one by one. Where is the time for us to think about the source? The thought will say, okay, we can keep this. Certain cases we will do it tomorrow. Like that, no? This tendency to postpone automatically comes because our priority gets shifted to so many things. But when there is a pause moment, that's why we feel we are a non-starter. So whenever there is a pause moment, relatively free from busy activities, we try this method. When nobody is along with us, there is a solitude, when nobody is around us in our room. Initially, it might help. It was about 2 years ago that Ram first kindled in the heart of his humble slave Ramdas a keen desire to realize his infinite love. To strive to approach and understand Ram is to recede from the world of vanishing forms. So we developed a method. We pray to him and automatically he gives us the prompting. And this sloga is the meaning of the sloga, the theme of the sloga enables us to get fixed in that support, The more we try to concentrate upon that, for example, Gadir Bharta, Prabhu Sakshi, Nivasa, Sharanam, Suhrud, Prabhava, Pralayasthanam, Nidanam, Bijam, Avyayam. I am the supreme goal of all living beings. I am also their sustainer. I am the master. I am the Sakshi, witness. I am the abode. I am the shelter. I am your friend. I am the origin. I am the end and the resting place of creation. I am the repository and eternal seed. Gadir Bharta, Prabhu, Sakshi, Nivas, Sharanam, Suhrad, Prabhava, Pralayasthanam, Nidanam, Bijam, Avyayam. The theme contained in every word, it sinks into us. Actually, Ramnam stands for these only. When Papa says, you are chanting the name of one who is within you, who is making you to chant. So we keep on dwelling on this. There is no other way, no shortcut. Another method is suggested by so many people. Go for a morning walk or anywhere, look at a particular thing. Immediately a label comes. Remove the label and try to see that. When I see a tree is a label pasted on that existence. But even before somebody declared as tree, the tree was there, no? The present, that existence which we at the moment we know as tree, it was there even prior to naming or putting that label. Papa has used this method also. By that process, the looker and the looked become one. Because it is the labeling that gives that brings the looker. When we try to see the object devoid of the label, what happens can be experienced by everybody. Again we repeat, at pause moments. And the moment the looker leaves, what remains? That's why he said, look without seeing. Eat without tasting. So Papa has tried this method also. Later on, when we checked up Yajnavalkya in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, he explained it. The self is pure awareness that shines as the light within the heart. Awareness. It is the self that is one with the soul reality Brahman. The self is free from desire, from evil, from fear. The man, he who in union with the self, sees without seeing, smells without smelling, tastes without tasting, speaks without speaking, hears without hearing, touches without touching, thinks without thinking, knows without knowing, for there is nothing separate from him. So this is another exercise. How to become one with him? It keeps on coming back to us, So initially Bhagavad Gita helps us. Bhagavad Gita helps us not chanting. If we have to really make use of the wonderful gift encased in the form of words of Lord Krishna, we have to go deep. Vimarsh. In that sloga in 18th chapter, when he says, do as you are prompted from within. Before that he says, use this faculty, wonderful faculty God has given, of going deep within, manana. Bhagavad Gita is there. Bhagavad Gita is there. Last. Itite jnanam akyatam guhyad guhyataram maya vimarshetat asheshena yathechasi tathakru. Reflecting over it fully, this thus as wisdom more profound than all profound it is has been declared to you by me, reflecting over it fully, act as you like. That reflecting, wonderful word. So the 10 slokas which he made us to pick out from these entire 700, which would help us to know the source of all sources, where from all of us have come, because we don't want to academically equip ourselves. Our sincere desire is to become one with him. So to know the source would be, that is the diagnosing it. So we first diagnosed the cause for it, the sense of individuality is the preventing one. So we have to go beyond that. How to go beyond that? It is difficulty, illogical, irrational. The sense of individuality trying to go beyond sense of individuality. So it is purely an internal process. So we try to bring the theme of the 7-8 slokas, reflect over it. And the more we reflect, the more we become nearer to the goal. It is purely an internal process. So, second one is, so every time when there is a pause moment, sattvic moment, when we are relatively free from busy schedules, when we are alone, say for example we hear a music, the mind slowly tunes itself with the tune. At least for the time being, it is away from the routine thoughts. And then slowly tune it down. And then we sit. Any thought that arises, we try to see where from it has come. How do I know that there is a thought? Like that, internal reflection. So it has come from him, it has come from him, it has come from him. So the nearness is built. Second thing is, we look at in the sober moment, we look at an object, immediately a label is pasted there, a glass, immediately we say glass, okay. Beyond that, before that, what was that? We try to understand the object with the label. That exercise will reveal to us that the label is the one which gives the astitva, of the looker. Beyond that, it cannot be explained. We just asked out to ourselves, what was it before that labeling? To prevent the mind from again floating on the surface, evolved souls have suggested that if it's a tree or a mountain or a river, it will be far more beneficial. Because a tree, it is not man-made. So that is why they suggested, look at a tree, and remove what was it before the name was given. This is another method. And whenever the mind, doubting Thomas, we say, whenever it raises so many hurdles like why variety, if you are one, why should you become many and give me all these problems? So then immediately we see a tree, and how does a tree comes? In the tiny little seed, when we plant it, does it bring out only one aspect of it? We see the roots, the stem, the leaves, the branches, the flower, the fruit, all are distinctly separate from each other. So our elders have suggested this also. Through this also you can connect up. So in me also, when you gave me this sense of individuality, you brought out various things in me. Sattvic thoughts, Rajasic thoughts, Tamasic thoughts. Inherent. Just like in a seed, all these things are inherent. We are not aware. When we look at the tree also, we don't become aware. But now we realize a tiny little seed, especially those of us who have had the privilege of, I think we may all remember our Vanamhotsava in the school days. We don't know now, it was there. So we plant. On that day, we plant. Some idea about a seed and a sapling. And now when we see a tree, we know that it has come because of this. So it was a small tree, and then a small seed, and a small seed sprouted, and a sapling came. But now when we look at the tree, so many things are there. The essential nature started gathering so many things from outside, and then it came out in this form of this. It is because of your presence that I am what I am. It is because of the seed. No? The tree cannot arrogate that it stands by itself. Similarly, because you are there. So again the nearness will be felt. So here comes the method given by Papa. He made us to dwell on this subject. He brings out, you try to go to the origin of your and the world life. And then, not that simply he said, then he prescribed it, the triune path, which has emerged from his own experience, Nam Seva Dhyan. So it is not simply kindling something and leaving it aside. No. He kindled in us and he made us to do all these things, but now with a new perspective, new light. So Nama is to remember him. We have been asked to give a name to that power, then chant the name with total faith and devotion. Because the uniqueness of this Nama chanting is, it is free from any preconditionings and therefore can be chanted at any time, at any place. It stays with us throughout the waking state. Any other ritual or discipline needs certain, prerequisite conditioning. You should sit eastward, you must have bath, you must do this, you must do that. No, here nothing like that. Because later on we will come to realize also, he is everywhere, so we are getting connected with him, that's all. He gave us a sense of individuality, he wanted us to function as an individual, but every now and then to connect himself, he also gave us the name. As the CEO, he has assigned to us many jobs, and every now and then he says, you contact me whenever you need. He also contacts to evaluate, to watch. So like that, this relationship develops with the help of Ramnam. Every word of Papa on Ramnam throws this light. That's why he said it's the link between us and him. Chanting is to remind the chanter that the name chanted stands for the great provider who has been providing everything, right from the seed level up to the present stage. Papa also makes us to get in, to dwell on the words of Nisargadatta Maharaj, where he bluntly says, where we consulted, the present me and mine was consulted when I was in the form of a seed in my mother's womb. I was not there at all. Suddenly I realized. I did not do anything for the development of the 9.5 months during when I was in mother's womb. The present me and mine did not do anything for the development of 200 odd organs. It is not a theory. It is something which I directly know. And this, I was not there when I came to this world. And now I know that I would not have brought anything, because no child brings anything from when it comes out from the mother's womb. So I also did not bring anything. And right from that moment, from the seed level up to the present level, that power is giving me everything. He is the great provider. Nama chanting, Nama, the chanting is to remind the chanter that the name chanted stands for the great provider who has been providing everything right from the seed level up to the present stage. While chanting, Beloved Papa also wants us to remember that we are chanting the name of the one who is within us, who is making us to chant. So he is the propelling force, he is the base, he is the articulating force, whatever, Even to chant the name. Bhagavad Gita also throws some light, Jivanam Sarvabhuteshu, in consciousness, intelligence. When chanting is done in the right perspective, even for a short while, it would help us remember that it is done by the power of God and as a service to Him. Remembrance is meant for us to be able to attribute everything to Him, even the very act of chanting. So now when the question keeps on coming back, how to become one with Him, and with all that is provided outwardly by Papa, now he wants us to go inward through the Nama chanting. Previously we were floating probably on the superficial level. Chanting is going on for decades. But the time has now arrived that we have to become We have to feel that we have to become one with Him. And then comes Seva. Nobody will be able to chant the divine name throughout the waking period because of preoccupations with family, society and profession. So another clue given by God is to ensure that outer activities are compatible with inner aspiration, meaning every act will have a touch of love, a touch of perfection, a touch of dedication and a touch of gratitude. This constitutes seva. In other words, it is a movement from me to we. And then comes dhyana. Nama and seva prepare the groundwork to undertake the inward journey. Mental repetition of God's name gradually hastens the emergence of peace and tranquility, paves the way to develop witness consciousness. This witness consciousness is a state of awareness of the immortal and radiant truth within us. So this triune path leads the aspirant to... We have been promised that this triune path will lead us to the vision of divinity within and later also without. God-realized saints assure us that once we are established in the vision of divinity, loving all and serving all become spontaneous and natural. We live, we work, we deal with men and matters. We also try to shape our mind and heart, trying to manifest the divine spark that is within us. In this way, a parallel development takes place, externally universalizing our vision, inwardly spiritual growth and fulfillment. This is the motto of Anandashram. So, from how to become one with Him, Papa has not only given us the theoretical portion, but also a practical way out. This one has to do by oneself. So let us all pray to Him to give us the needed framework, sustained enthusiasm, and firm in our commitment to know, to feel it in our own way. Because each one of us are having our own different equipments. So it is given us. Just like Bhagavad Gita, in Bhagavad Gita, Lord says, we must share. After that, yatechasi tata guru. Do whatever you like. You reflect over it and then do whatever you like. More of it tomorrow. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Jai
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om to everybody.
Pranam Swami.
Pranam, pranam. Hari Om. Pranam, pranam.
Sundar